Good afternoon, and wherever you are in this wide, wonderful world, you are very welcome to the Soft and System Size to Sales. And I have my host, my co-partner in crime, Dr. Future State Shay Lynch is here on my left, and I always get it wrong that way. Yeah, that way. And today we're talking about prospecting focus and focus on the needs, not the commission. So we will see you on the other side. Hey, welcome back. And again, we have used this time slightly different to our normal schedule, but I think it's a good time anyway. So today we really are speaking about how we can be effective in prospecting, but always keep value in mind for the customer, not looking a little bit beyond the customer and going, oh, I can see a big dollar sign, euro sign above their head. That is where I need to go. That is not the right way of doing things. So for the next 20 minutes, we'll be discussing different elements of this and how to get yourself back on track, because just not the right way. Shay, what do you think about this?
Well, you know what, Jason? First of all, thanks very much. It's always a pleasure to be here, and welcome to everyone. This, to me, Jason, is one of the most important elements of the sales process, because we talked a few weeks ago. We talked about this piece about being unreceptive. Like you're going to have X amount of leads. Say, just keep it simple: 100 leads in your campaign, right? And probably about 5%, Jason, will only be receptive. So you have to work on those other 95% to become receptive as best they can. And that's where you start becoming other people focused, other customer, your prospecting focus, not you, not to get your sale, not to get your commission, but look after them. When you look after them, Jason, you get the sale. The consequence of looking after them, getting a good customer, looking after them well, is you getting paid. That is the consequence, not the goal. And you do that by focusing all your efforts on them, and even your messaging, Jason. When it comes to prospecting, it's a hard, thankless job, right? It is so hard. Everything counts. How you talk to people, when you open conversation, that first 10 seconds in your call, your 10 seconds should be designed to get 30 seconds more, and then that 30 seconds to get, say, 3 minutes. So it's how you position yourself, build that process so you can get a little bit more time without wasting time. And even if you're sending messages, how you open your subject line, your first opening line and paragraph, to encourage them to actually read that mail and go, yes, that resonates with me. And they get back to you. It is crucial, Jason. Otherwise, you're going to be chasing leads till the cows come home, as we say in Ireland, and you'll get nowhere fast.
Yeah, that's really important. And the thing I was thinking about when you were speaking, obviously the subject line, when you put something in, the message is very important. But when you actually speak to someone, it's not to be needy. You have the pressure of hitting target, and your boss is down on your back, and you have that pressure. Then you have the pressure from your family to get money and commission and all of that sort of stuff so you can pay the bills. We know the energy levels are going up, and cost of living is a challenge. So you have these external factors raining down on you, and it's really quite a challenge to balance yourself between being needy, and people smell that. Your client will smell when you're being needy, especially when you're prospecting and you think you're prospecting well, but when you even speak with them, you're being desperate, you're trying to close for a meeting, and they know you are, because you're not actually giving any value. When you can hear it in your tone, exactly what I'm just saying now. I'm stuttering in my voice, and your tone and tonality doesn't come across confident. So all of those areas, positioning, and you shallow breathe because you're focused in on, I need to do this appointment, I need to get this, that, and the other. And like, they can smell, people smell that sort of urgency, the negative urgency in the effect that it isn't a positive one, because you're not focusing on the customer at all. You're focusing on your needs as above to the client's need. And Bernadette just put a message up there. Thank you, Bernadette. Focus on the future relationship. I like to say return on relationship.
Yeah, and I think that's a great call out by Bernadette.
Yeah.
Your goal when you're prospecting is not to sell. It's the first thing is to build the start of a relationship, and you work through that. And that's where people get it. I think it's a really good call out, Bernadette, because people think the start of prospecting is not to sell. The goal is to build a relationship, show that you understand their needs. You talked about position, Jason. Your position is their position, knowing their pain points. So if you think about when you're thinking with prospects, there's probably three areas that they have, possible areas that they could have a problem, not just one, but a problem across all areas. One is their goal, Jason. What is their goal, right? Building that goal, that could be a problem. Then they may know the goal, but then there's the plan. How do they get there? What is the strategy to get there? And then also the third element is, what are the challenges that they're going to face along that journey? They're usually the three areas I focus on. What can I see? What information can I get about the company and the director or who I'm talking to? What can I learn about their problems in those three areas? Right. And that's how I position myself when I'm talking to these people. It's not about my needs. My position is their needs always, and build the relationships and their needs, understand, empathize with them, and then build forward after that. It's not about getting that quick sale. It's about knowing how to build it in the right way at the right time with the people involved. It's about building relationships.
David just put up there, people do business with people they know,
Absolutely.
like, and trust. And absolutely. And also, I'd like to just add another layer on that, and connect with. And that's all to do with the goals that you just said. It's understanding their universe, understanding their business, understanding what's going on in the background, maybe a little bit of politics in a way, so you can position yourself in the right way, but really seeing it from their point of view. Everything's from their point of view. And who else is connected within the process, depending on the size of the company. And I think we've discussed this once before. Obviously, likability, connectability, trust, back up with your testimonials, back up with other people that they might know. So you position yourself correctly with your trust and credibility. But then you go obviously beyond that. And I always think it's effective questioning to understand and establish their goals. Who else have those similar problems within the organization that you can actually help and resolve? I don't think a 5-minute call can actually establish a complete goal setting. That I think the first call is really to get them to know you, get them to understand their side of it, and then maybe book a proper meeting, depending on how you're targeting. Hopefully, and I do say hopefully, everything and everyone that you speak to is a warmer lead in, so they know who you are, they've done their research about you. Then you can actually go in and ask proper good fundamental questions about their business, and really, really dig deep and use these things on our head.
Yeah, but that's it, Jason. And like, this is where where I think the soft and the system side to sales is so important, because you need to understand the process of, like, your position is their position. Every time I go into a meeting, this is what I repeat to myself: their issues, not mine, their issues. Focus on them. And again, if it's just a very quick call, Jason, if it's a phone call or quick call, Like I always go, so tell me about your challenges. Tell me about your goals. Tell me about your challenges. How are you going to get there? I build that information. And then I say, look, I believe I can help you, right? But I would love to do a deeper discovery call. That's only for 2-2. If I know I can help you, and let's see, can we work together? And I always say, look, there's no issues if you don't want to. I always give people an easy out, Jason.
Yeah.
Because again, to your point, you're not being that pushy salesperson that's targeting your goals, not theirs. I will help you build a set of requirements. And even if they're talking to other people and they bring in about competition, I would say, look, I'm not going to talk bad about competition or why I'm better than them. I don't know. That's for you to decide, not me. I can tell you what I can deliver. But should you choose someone else, I'm okay with that too. And if they talk about companies I know, I say, well, look, I know those companies. They're a great company. I would never say anything bad just to suit my own needs. And it's very important that you position yourself. The more you can give them reasons to trust you, Jason, because if you truly care about their results, you will say, yes, if the other competition is a better solution, go with it. Because that's what you do with friends.
Yeah.
And that's the way you should treat people, that you're looking after their best interest, not yours. And the more you do that, Jason, the more they will have a really good, warm feeling about you. And they could choose you because you've given them a reason that you're not out for you, you're out for them.
Treat people how you'd like to be treated yourself. And Bernadette put another message up there. Totally agree. Get to know them, encourage them with questions, challenge, and particularly objections. Great conversation, guys. Thank you again, Bernadette, for your comments, because it adds in to the value of what we're speaking about today, because it is the client. And like there's, as we know, and I think we might have discussed this once before, there's going to be more challenges within the marketplace. There's going to be more things that are giving people headaches, which, you know, doesn't matter whether you're in a recession or not. If you can offer and give value and hopefully help them in their time of need. But again, I think the softly approach is the best approach. When you're pushy, they push back. It's like having two magnets together. You know what it's like? You have two magnets and they repel. And that's exactly what it is. Like the conversations that are going on in their head go, well, why is this person speak to me? I get phone calls pretty much most days from these cryptocurrencies companies, and they're constantly don't build trust. They don't get any connection with me. They go, hi, how are you? And they go, yeah, I'm all right. And then I see a funny number coming up, or they have an Irish number, and they just lost me straight away. And I just have to put the phone down. That's not the way to do the right business with anyone like me.
That's a really good call out, Jason, because when you're on the receiving end of someone selling you, you know how you like to be positioned and sold to, right? And it's about giving the same respect to the people that you're selling to, right? And I always say the art of selling without selling, the art of closing without closing. Give them the responsibility, let them choose, give them the information, help them work through it, but always give them an easy out. Because again, if you force, Jason, if anyone, it's subconsciously, that if you force people, even if it's a subtle forcing, some people subconsciously will say, do you know what? I'm not sure if I trust this guy. There's something just not right between their body language, between their paraverbal, their nonverbal, everything. Something's not just sitting home with me. I'm not going to choose them. And that's the last thing you want to do, Jason. It's so hard to get a sale. It's so hard to prospect. There's so much competition. You need, and that's why, again, the soft and system side, it's so important to get that sweet spot between the two. So you know when you walk away, you've done everything you can for the customer to choose you, and you can look back and regrets.
Absolutely. Look, we call ourselves salespeople, and I think most people are salespeople. Everyone is a salesman, regardless of the industry that you're in. You could be an accountant, solicitor. Everyone is selling. Absolutely everyone. But it's how you approach that to give people service. And I think we are service people at the end of the day. We give value, and hopefully we give the service, and we get the reputation from that. But again, if we fall off that path by whatever means, and the stresses and the worries and all of that come around, that's when there's a bit of a challenge there, and people decide not to trust you and want to invest in you. The best time that people invest in you is when they get that connection. They go, that person is really good at what they do. They're professionals, and it is the professional industry that we're in. And they really get the nuances, what's going on in our business. They understand our business for a start, meaning they understand that the whole other area of the business, because you've done your due diligence before the phone call, because you understand the industry, or you understand some of the acronyms that they're actually saying. You're not going to understand it all until you actually start to speak to them properly. But having that know-how, doing your due diligence research and LinkedIn, and bringing those bits of conversation in. Oh, I've noticed by your post the other day that you have X and Y. How does that sit in with you? What is going on? Those types of questions.
Yeah,
really going to help the customer go, this is the right sort of person I want to deal with.
And that's exactly it, Jason, because they're not just going, they'll have you in a meeting, you'll have a chat with them. They're going to stalk you. They're going to look for all your other channels where they can learn more about you. They're going to take the omni-channel approach, because if they're interested in you, Jason, and that's the goal of having a really good first conversation, they will look for everything they can find about you online to see, is what the person I met doesn't match what this person does online, and look for that congruence. And if they don't get it, again, Jason, whatever you post online, if it contradicts anything that they perceived you to be, that's the sale over straight away. So everything, this is again falling back to you, your personal brand, Jason, about how you perform, how you act internally, out and externally to people, so they know they're seeing the real you, and that becomes easy then for you to be the same person in all your channels, because you're being you. To your point earlier on, when you talked about that salesperson being pushy, like straight away, if they see that person that's not pushy but pushy online, again, it builds that little subconscious mistrust in their brain. It is so important to have everything congruent and complementing each other.
You just took my word. I was just about to say congruence, because it is in line with everything else. Like, I think there's a balancing act. You got to come across your personal brand. When we push that out, you got to come across like a human. You got to come across like you are you, and they can connect with you, rather than just like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm superhuman, I boast about this, and or whatever else. I don't think that the connection side of it has to be, this is me, this is my story, this is the people that I help and serve. Here's some advice of what I've done with other industries. This is a process that I would use. What do you think? Asking those sort of ways of doing things is such a softly way of doing it, to help people and invite people into your world, how they perceive you, and then you jump into their world. Once you meet them, hopefully there'll be some sort of connection there.
Yeah, and that's it, Jason. That reminds me now of what you said, of an author called Daniel Pink. He has some amazing books on how to motivate people, one called Drive, and he has another book which I read not so long ago called To Sell is Human.
Yeah.
And he's one of these method writers that he looks through all the industry. He does a phenomenal amount of research. I'd put him on the same par as Malcolm Gladwell in terms of the research they do for books in a different area. And he has a book called To Sell is Human. And he talks about the people who just want to build relationships. The nice person, they're the people who always sell well. Because if you're a nice person, Jason, what we've talked about in this call, these are the things that you would do naturally. If you're talking about trying to help a friend, because again, I always try to say it is like, you're not trying to sell. Think about how you would act if you're trying to help a friend. That's exactly how you should sell, Jason. Helping them solve their problems, giving them the options, let them choose the options. The more you put it in them, the more they get that happy, warm feeling about who you are as a person, how you can help them. And that's the way it should be. And I always say, try and look at your sales prospects as friends and act like they were your friends, because you will do the right things naturally.
And it is doing the right thing for them.
Yeah.
I remember my grandfather, he used to be a salesperson, and he used to go around all of the farms, and they used to go, "Ron, how are you doing, Ron?" And they'd have a conversation, and there'd be dogs barking at him and sheep bouncing everywhere and all of that. And he was in the agricultural industry back then, but everyone would know him as Ron, and he gets such a good reputation. And the other farmers would actually refer him on to other farms in the locality because he was just a genuinely nice person and being nice to people. And he had a really good personality about it. And he's charming and he's funny. And he's also very engaging. And he'd always ask him, "Oh, how's your wife today? How's this, that, and the other?" And know everything about the family and the connections and the fields and the animals that they had and all of that sort of stuff. But the only way he knew that was to ask questions, to get that buy-in, to get that step forward with them, just to get that rapport and understanding the business. Oh, how's that field doing? I'd noticed as I come in, the crops were wilting or whatever it might be. Like, he understood that. So he brought that in to the conversation when he's actually visiting people. So all of that stuff just really, really helps. It really, be the expert of who you are. That really helps hopefully build confidence, even in challenging times. Here we go. Got Bernadette again. Thank you. Gosh, she's really interactive. Sales trailer rather like a movie. Encourage the interest. Extroverts always get salespeople. Yeah, I totally agree. Pushy can be.
Stop. I always say to that point, but I always say firm but nice.
Yeah. You got to know your stuff. You can't be a pushover as well. You got to be strong.
You have to believe in. You have to stand for what you stand for, Jason. That's where your personal brand comes into it. You have to have, this is what I believe, and be firm. People need to know that you believe in what you say, and I think that is absolutely paramount. And I like that love that you brought up about Daniel Pink. He's amazing books. He's definitely worth reading about leadership, but also how to be the best version of you.
I honestly think Daniel Pink, there's lots of other books, lots of flow of other books. I always like to say, like yourself with your books, and my books behind me, is keep investing in yourself. If you learn one thing out of a book that can help you with a client and understand them better, it will make and break your brain just to say, well, I understand their business a lot better because I understand them, because I'm more educated in the market, because I've read stuff about this, that, and the other. And I think, Daniel Pink, and as you suggested, keep on investing in you to help other people get what they want.
Yeah. So with that, Jason, my final point, we're coming up on time, is to the reading, to what you said. I say read as much as you can and then put your own sprinkle of magic on top.
I couldn't add any more to that, because just invest into yourself so you can help other people and don't get so needy when you're in a challenging end of month situation where you're defocusing on yourself and not the customer. So always enable the customer. I said lots of points there and I apologize, but I had to say loads of things. So again, Shay, it's been awesome. We've covered a lot of ground here, and there's a lot more ground to cover every week with the soft and system size to sell. So have a wonderful end of day.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Bernadette. Thanks, David. And thanks, Jason.